This was an occasion for the three services. The Army supplied the Guard of Honor, His Excellency himself represented the Air Force, and the ceremony was to launch another minesweeper for the Navy. His Excellency congratulated the men who had built her. With a bottle of New Zealand wine, Lady Newell christened the new ship Aroha. This was more than an occasion for the three services. It was an achievement of three countries. English draftsmen had supplied the plans, Australian workers had forged the steel, and New Zealand men had built her. The first of our steel vessels, she goes down to the sea to help her sister ships. Others will soon follow. The gulls welcome her to her new element, and the launchers help her towards the fitting out wharf. And the workmen look with pride on their own good work. New industries, such as the building of aeroplanes and the growing and processing of linen flax, have been brought into being by the war. Shipbuilding is one of the Dominion's oldest industries. The war has revived it. This is a new steel minesweeper built at the Evans Bay Patent Slip, famous for ship repairs. Of trawler design, she can be readily adapted for fishing when peacetime comes. The launching ceremony is performed by Mrs. Fraser, and His Majesty's New Zealand ship, Awatiri, begins to move. As she enters the water, the flag breaks at the masthead. And so, 100 years after the launching of her first ship, Port Nicholson receives her first naval vessel. Well built, New Zealand.
Boarding a business like minesweeper, these boys salute the quarterdeck and hurry to fall in response to the bosun's whistle. They're sea cadets getting practical training with real equipment. In their harbor crews, they learn to rig and operate a sweep for mines. And wouldn't they be thrilled if they really did catch one? Signaling is carried out with shore stations, and of course they must learn to take over the wheel. Gun drill is an important part of training, and much practice is required to make everything go like clockwork. These cadets are carrying out the training that before the war was done by the Royal New Zealand Naval Reserve, most of whose members are now on active service. In an emergency, it's necessary to know how to get a boat away quickly. And when you're in a hurry, you press the button marked basement and hang on. Going down. These sea dogs are only sea pups yet, but give them time and watch them grow.
This is the first British submarine to visit New Zealand. Arriving shortly before VJ Day, she has an impressive service record. Commissioned in 1943, this boat has sunk 13 enemy ships, 4 by torpedoes and 9 by gunfire. Only a small one, she still packs plenty of punch, and when the European war ended, came to the Pacific to tickle up the Japs. Her visit to New Zealand was partially to assist in training anti-submarine patrols, and she slips out to sea followed by minesweepers, which will endeavor to locate her. It's a bit stinking outside, not really rough, maybe a moderate swell, but it tips the minesweepers up on end as they leave the harbour. But they've been out in far worse weather than this on patrol during the past few years. Signals are exchanged with the sub off the port bow. On its conning tower, the skipper gives the order to stand by to dive. Stop the diesels. Blow the tanks. And down she goes. Up periscope. It's a delicate job keeping a sub in trim and on her course below the surface. You're on the alert and no room to move, especially up forward amongst the torpedo tubes. Rotten place to be in a depth charge attack. VJ Day meant something to these boys. Up top, there's still plenty of movement and lots of room. Too much room when you're searching for a sub. The little ships search back and forth and up and down. When the sub has been located, it surfaces and we can all go home. This practice, like the real war, is over.
Of these minesweepers into the Royal Navy are being built at Auckland, Wellington, and at Port Chalmers. And arrangements have also been made for the construction in New Zealand of motor patrol boats of a special design. The building of naval vessels is only one of our numerous war activities. Employers and workers alike have responded truly with a will to the necessities of the position, and the industrial machine is geared to a high pitch of efficiency indeed. Besides the production of clothing and footwear for military purposes, some 60 factories, including the railway workshops, are now engaged in the manufacture of munitions in very considerable quantities. Just as we are proud of our gallant men serving overseas, so can we be proud too of our effort in the production of war materials. And as HMS Hinau takes the water today, she carries with her the best wishes of all New Zealanders for the arduous work which awaits her and those who serve in her.
Long ago, New Zealanders built ships for the coastal trade in the days when the main road was the sea. The old skill has been kept alive and has been turned to a new use. Only 12 months ago, it was decided to build minesweepers here, and in double quick time, the ship to be called HMS Hinau began to take shape. Now it's August the 28th, 1941, and the Honourable Mr. Sullivan, Minister of Supply, proudly speaks of the skill and ingenuity of New Zealand craftsmen and shipwrights as the new minesweeper is launched. Captain Rogerum expresses the pleasure of the Navy upon this latest addition to its strength. And the Mayor of Auckland presents a Hinau seedling to Mrs. Sullivan as a token of the young strength of the ship just built. Hinau is christened by Mrs. Sullivan with a bottle of New Zealand wine. And she's away. The solid structure of timber and steel takes on life as it gathers speed down the slipway. A new ship for His Majesty's Navy. There are cheers for the ship and cheers for the men who built her. She is a solid, practical contribution to the war effort. And who knows, perhaps a new beginning to a local industry as old as New Zealand itself. But this ship is only the beginning. As she takes the water, others are being built. A splendid achievement and a fine symbol of New Zealand's active share in the battle for freedom.
And made her into a city that could only be Wellington.
Well, I hated it when I first came here.
I'll tell you what, mate,
Other Sydney ferries lie idle, awaiting room at the shipbreakers' yards.
Come!
What now, Captain?
Get your Bible out, Reverend. Stand by to fire! And fire!
Hold your course, Blake.
Night! Come on. A little more! Put some muscle into it! That's it! That's it! That's it! That's it! Just a few more inches!